member will take those 3 oaths, and our final trigger action is to deliver the certificate of appointment by Her Excellency. So for now, you can just relax. Thank you for your tolerance until Her Excellency arrives to commence the ceremony.
Well, it's ABS as we continue to bring you coverage of the swearing ceremony here for the public who've heard. I don't know if my notes is exactly correct, but there were some switcheroos in our notes. And we know for a fact that the Honorable Chico Lake, the Minister of Public Works and Housing. We also know for a fact that the Honorable Samantha Marshall will be Minister of Social Transformation and Human Development. The Honorable Asot Michael, Minister of Tourism, Investment and Energy. The Honorable Max Fernandez, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. The Honorable Molwyn Joseph, Minister of Health and the Environment. The Honorable Arthur Nibbs, Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries and Barbuda Affairs. The Honorable Michael Brown, Minister of Education. And there was there was not 2 other things.
Telecommunications
no,
and
it wasn't
technology.
Telecommunications. No, it was not. The Honorable Melford Nicholas is Minister of Broadcasting,
Information, Telecommunications,
and of course IT.
Yes.
But that's not the way it's phrased there. We'll get that. We know the Honorable Chet Greene is Minister of Trade, Industry, Commerce, Culture, Sports, Festivals, and
National Parks as well.
Right. And we know for a fact that I did not get exactly what Mr. Robin Yearwood, Minister, that one missed me. But of course, we will get all those after the sermon, because these things that we got, and we're just trying to verify certain things to make certain they're correct. If this photographer would only give me a chance, we're live here on radio and television, and it's very difficult for me to see 5'6" over a 6-footer here. So, Mr. Cameraman, it'd be nice of you so we can get a viewing over there. It's ABS. Again, you can get us on the World Wide Web. That's abstvradio.com. And we're streaming, so all this information you'll be able to get. The ceremony is pretty warm in here.
Yes, it is. And very, very hot.
The officer did make an apology because they do not normally have functions in this room. But to accommodate what's taking place today, because all is one, they're all in one. They're making certain that, of course, that they house everyone.
Well, we've just seen the arrival of Her Excellency Dame Louise Lake Tark, so we're going to turn you over to the podium right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin the ceremony, may I say that unfortunately, the Honorable Lester Bryant Bird is unable to attend due to illness that warrants hospitalization. I received his portfolio from the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown this morning, indicating that the Honorable Lester Bryant Bird is to hold the office of Senior Minister. We wish him well and do hope that it won't be long before he can be sworn in. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now proceed with the oaths. First up is Honorable Robin Yearwood, please. Honorable Robin Yearwood.
I, Robin Yearwood, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. I, Robin Yearwood, do swear I will exercise the functions of the office of minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution. So help me God.
Of course, Her Excellency actually just gave an apology on behalf of the Honorable Lester Bird, who is unable to attend the ceremony because of illness.
And his portfolio will be
Senior Minister, yes.
I, Robin Yearwood, do swear that I will not on any account at any time whatsoever disclose any counsel, advice, opinion, or vote given by any minister as a member of the cabinet, and that I will not, except with the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the proper knowledge as a member of the cabinet. So help me God.
That's the Honorable Robin Yearwood, who just took his third oath of office. Oh, it's the second. I guess the heat is getting to me
There's
right
one
now.
more to go.
Yes, he does.
Again, we continue to bring you live coverage of the swearing-in ceremony here at Government House for the 10 cabinet ministers.
The atmosphere in here is one where we have a lot of family members here, basically trying to get a glimpse of their respective family member being sworn in. So it's a bit crowded, however, we do understand.
Section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Robin Kenworth Montgomery Young, to hold the office of Minister of Public Utilities, Civil Aviation and Transportation. And this is given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June, 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
There we have it, of course, of the Honorable Robin Yearwood, Minister of APA, Utility, Aviation and Transportation. That's Utilities and Transportation. So that's the portfolio for the Honorable
Asot
Robin
Michael.
Yearwood. Now we have the Honorable Asot Michael, who will be Minister of Tourism, Investment and Energy, and we'll get some confirmation on that at the end of the swearing-in.
And of course, the Honorable Asot Michael is a parliamentary representative for the St. Peter's constituency.
I, Asot Anthony Michael, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law. So help me God.
Sign out, sir.
Now, the Honorable and again, the Honorable Asot Michael, Minister of Tourism, Investment and Energy, and at the end, when he swears, we will hear what the Governor General is proclaiming him to be Minister of. We'll be alive, but of course, it's not going to be as quick as the officer told us it may be. But this is going to be a little while because all three have to swear. I mean, all of them have to swear, and the process is not quick. But we're here, and of course, it's an occasion, a grand occasion here in Antigua and Barbuda. A new government has taken the reins of Antigua and Barbuda, and all this is necessity to make certain that these ministers are legal. And of course, this is the only way they would have won the votes. But to legalize their status as government ministers and cabinet ministers, they have to be sworn in here at Government House.
Officially by Our Excellency, Dame Louise Lake Tack.
Mr. Michael.
I, Asot Anthony Michael, do swear that I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of Antigua action or ill will, so help me God.
Of course, the second oath that he was just taken, and he'll go on to sign the legal documents here at Government House. It's a bright, sunny afternoon, a very warm Wednesday afternoon, and it's extremely warm here at Government House. We're in a facility that is natural air. The air condition is on, but I don't know if it will stand the heat of all these good folks here. But I don't know if they're working, but they're blowing. Here's the third one. The third oath that the Honorable Asot Michael will take. Again, he's being given the Bible, and now he will read.
I, Asot Anthony Michael, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office of Minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. And I do further swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state, and I do further swear that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister, and that I will not accept without the authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as Minister or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, that in all things I will be true and faithful Minister to the Cabinet. So help me God.
That was the final oath. He will now move over, and General of Antigua and Barbuda will then, after his signing, reveal the proclamation of his office here in the 2014 cabinet of the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. We now await the proclamation from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. It's ABS as we continue to bring you live coverage of this swearing-in ceremony here at Government House. Today, of course, the 18th day of June.
By virtue of the power and authority vested in me under Section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Asot Anthony Michael, to hold the office of Minister of Tourism, Economic Development, Investment and Energy, given under my hand and on the public seal this 18th day of June 2014 and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign. Here we are. Congratulations.
And economic development. That's the second minister, the Honorable Asot Michael, Minister of Tourism, Investment, Energy, and Economic Development.
We also witnessed a very emotional moment there with the Honorable Asot Michael just hugging his mom, probably just, telling her, hey, Mom, thank you so much for what you've done for me, and I appreciate everything. And, of course, she giving him a very warm smile, reassuring him that
the Honorable Molwyn
very
Joseph.
touching moment there.
It's ABS as we continue the proceedings here. As we continue, we now have the Honorable Molwyn Joseph.
Yes. I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law.
That's the Honorable Molwyn Joseph. And we heard before Minister of Health and the Environment, and we'll just monitor at the end of it when the proclamation is made by the Governor General of the complete ministry, if any additional is there to what we have here. Please be reminded that he has two more, of course, oath to take before we can have the proclamation from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. It's ABS Radio, Television, and GIS. We're live at Government House to bring you the swearing-in ceremony for the new cabinet, for the new government, for the Antigua Labour Party, and the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. We now await his second oath. And it's quite notable that he's not using a Bible. Yes.
I, Molwyn Morgeson Joseph, do solemnly affirm that I will exercise the functions of the office of Minister of Health and Environment without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda.
And of course we know for a fact that there's a pack house at the Antigua Recreation Grounds where the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, will address the nation. We'll also have ministers from other Caribbean countries making some short address. Now here is Mr. Joseph, third and final. As he waits, he's at the podium waiting for the Governor General also to affix her signature to whatever he has signed. I'm just, okay, there it is. He will now make his third allegiance.
Entire thing. I, Molwyn Morgeson Joseph, do solemnly affirm that I will exercise the functions of the office of Minister of Health and Environment without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda, and I do further affirm that I will do the best of my judgment at all times when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state. And I do further affirm that I will not in any account or any time whatsoever disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister or parliamentary secretary, and that I will not, except with the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature of the contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister in the government.
Honorable Molwyn Joseph, Cabinet Minister, Minister of Health and the Environment. He will also pen his signature to the document. Then we will hear from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda with her proclamation about the Minister, the Honorable Molwyn Joseph. It's ABS Radio and Television and GIS as we bring you live coverage of the swearing-in ceremony here at Government House for today, Wednesday, the 18th day of June 2014. The new cabinet, of course, the cabinet of the Honorable Prime Minister, Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston
To
Brown.
Molwyn Morgeson Joseph, Esquire, greeting. By virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Molwyn Morgeson Joseph, to hold the office of Minister of Health and the Environment. And this is given under my hand and on the public seal this 18th day of June, 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
The Honorable Molwyn Joseph, Minister of Health and the Environment, and was just given, of course, his credentials for his ministry, the Ministry of Health and the Environment. The Honorable Sylvester Lake will now go to the podium, and he will also make his 3 oaths of allegiance on this Wednesday afternoon here at Government House.
Affirm.
I, Eustace Sylvester Lake, do solemnly affirm to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her highest and that I will faithfully bear true allegiance and successors according to law.
That, of course, the Honorable Eustace Tico Lake, his first allegiance. There's 2 more to go as we bring you continued coverage on this Wednesday afternoon swearing-in ceremony for the new cabinet and the new government of Antigua and Barbuda. On this leadership, Prime Minister, the Honorable Gaston Brown. The Honorable Eustace Tico Lake, Tico affectionately called, of course, will make his second allegiance.
I, Eustace Sylvester Lake, do solemnly affirm that I will exercise the functions of the Office of Public Works and Housing without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua.
Lake, Minister of Public Works and Housing, will have one final allegiance, and then the proclamation will be made by the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. And we're at the 4th Minister. We have 6 more to go. Of course, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party was victorious at the poll in the 2014 election on the 12th of June here in Antigua and Barbuda.
I, Eustace Sylvester Lake, do swear or do affirm that I will exercise the function of the office of Prime Minister. I will functions of the Minister of Public Works and Housing without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua, and I do further affirm that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times, when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of public affairs of the state, and I will do further affirm that I will not on any account at any time whatsoever disclose the counsel, advice, and opinion or vote of any minister, and I will not accept, with authority of the cabinet and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, or any other matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister.
Eustace Tico Lake, Minister of Public Works and Housing.
And we now have the Honorable Tico Lake now just signing the official documents. And, of course, he will be presented with his credentials by Her Excellency Dame Louise Lake Tack. And also the public will really be able to hear the official designation of his portfolio. And one thing this afternoon, Dave, that I noticed is that a lot of the older should I call them, stalwarts of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party are actually here. We see there's Hugh Marshall, and of course we understand that his daughter, the Honourable Samantha Marshall, is being sworn in here as the second, one of the two elected female members of Parliament. And also we have the Honourable Bernard Percival, who's also here, and we also have Hilroy Humphreys, who's also here. So a lot of those.
By virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Eustace to hold the office of Minister of Works and Housing, given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June, 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
Eustace T. being presented with his credentials, and he is now officially the Minister of Public Works and Housing. And of course, he is the representative for the St. John's
Honourable
Rural South
Paul Chet Greene,
constituency.
please come.
We now wait on the Honourable Chet Greene as he approached the podium to perform his allegiance, his office, as we join him.
I, Everly Paul Chet Greene, do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law.
The Honourable Chet Greene, being joined at the podium by his wife, Mrs. Greene, as he continues the formula this afternoon. He's at the desk and he's signing the documents on this warm Wednesday afternoon here in Antigua and Barbuda. Last Thursday was election day in Antigua and Barbuda. Today's Wednesday. And of course, the cabinet being sworn in less than a week. And we will hear all of the speeches, and the celebration will continue of the Antigua Recreation Grounds following this official swearing-in ceremony on this Wednesday afternoon.
For those of you who are at home, remember that the ceremony at the Antigua Recreation Ground is open to the public. So of course you can take the opportunity to come out and join the celebration at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. Now we turn you back over to the second oath for the Honourable Chet Greene.
I, Everly Paul Chet Greene, do solemnly affirm that I will exercise the functions of the office without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution of Antigua and of the laws of Antigua and Barbuda. I affirm.
The Honourable Chet Greene just affirm, and again, as procedures would, I'll detail it. Again, he's at the desk, and here is signing, of course, the document. There's one more allegiance that have to be made, and then we'll get the proclamation from the Governor General as far as his ministry is concerned. Again, we're live, and I do hope that, of course, this is one of the projects that will be undertaken to upgrade the government house, because it really needs a facelift. Here goes the Honourable Chet Greene once again.
I, Everly Paul Chet Greene, do solemnly affirm that I will exercise the functions of the office of minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution, and all times when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state. And I do further affirm that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister, and that I will not accept with the authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua, directly or indirectly, reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. I affirm.
The Honorable Chet Greene will now wait for well, he'll have to sign this also, and then we'll hear the official ministry from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. Again, we say a very special good afternoon to the world. It may be late evening where you are, or early morning where you are, but we're glad that you have joined us on ABS for this live coverage of the swearing-in of the cabinet ministers here at Government House on this Wednesday, the 18th day of June 2014. 10 of the elected members will serve in the cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown.
To Everly Paul Chet Greene, Esquire, by virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Everly Paul Chet Greene, to hold the office of Minister of Trade, Commerce and Industry, Sports, Culture, and National Festivals, given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
There you have it, the official portfolio for the Honorable Chet Greene, also the parliamentary representative for the St. Paul's constituency, now the Minister of Trade, Industry and Commerce, Culture, Sports and National Festivals. That was the Honorable Chet Greene, and he was accompanied by his wife, Mrs. Greene, at the podium.
The Honorable Samantha Nicole Marshall.
And now we have the Honorable Samantha Marshall, and judging from that loud applause, of course, you can appreciate the fact that she is among the female parliamentary representatives here in Antigua and Barbuda, one of 3, and of course she's making significant impact there.
And of course she's joined at the podium by her mother.
I, Samantha Nicole Marshall, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law.
The Honorable Samantha Marshall will hold the portfolio of social transformation and human development, but we will get confirmation of the end of the allegiance with the proclamation coming from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. I guess after this ceremony, folks will be dashing for things to drink, because at the end of it, I guess we all will be dehydrated. It is warm in here. The Honorable Samantha Marshall is back at the podium, accompanied by her mom. Her dad is also here. We saw him earlier. You know. Yes.
Proud moment for them both. Of course, you can't see this for the viewers, but of course, Mr.
I, Samantha Nicole Marshall, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office as Minister of Social Transformation and Human Resource Development without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda.
We continue our broadcast here. And like I said, we said before again, the process continues. And are we down to 4 now?
Yes.
Did you take off? We had Tico Lake, the Honorable Tico Lake. We're now having the Honorable Samantha Marshall. Okay. We have the Honorable Chet, Greene, Minister of Trade, Industry, Commerce, Culture.
I, Samantha Nicole Marshall, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the Officer of Minister of Social Transformation and Human Resource Development without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. And I do further swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times, when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state. And I do further swear that I will not, on any account, at any time, whatsoever disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister that I will not accept with the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. So help me God.
Again, the Honorable Samantha Marshall, Social Transformation, Human Resource Development will be her portfolio in the new cabinet of the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown. Again, if you're viewing on television, you'll be able to see the fact that they're signing. And for those of you on radio, take our word for it.
And of course, this is also being streamed at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. So for those persons who cannot make it here, they are actually at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. And of course, from time to time, Dave and I would actually hear screams for a particular parliamentary representative. So definitely the action will be taking place at the Antigua.
Samantha Nicole Marshall's greeting. By the virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Samantha Nicole Marshall, to hold the office of Minister of Social Transformation and Human Resource Development, given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Samantha Marshall, the parliamentary representative for the St. Mary's South constituency, receiving her official credentials and taking a picture with her mother for the press. And of course, she is now the Minister of Social Transformation and Human Resource Development. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Honorable Samantha Marshall.
Honorable Charles Henry Fernandez.
Now we also have the Honorable Charles Max Fernandez, and his wife is standing at the podium. She joins him there as he takes his oath of allegiance this afternoon. And Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, and we'll monitor to see if we missed anything as far as that portfolio.
I, Charles Henry Fernandez, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law.
Mr. Charles Max Fernandez will make his second allegiance. And we're seeing here Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, and we'll monitor to hear if there's anything additional or anything to be missed. Let's join him.
I, Charles Henry Fernandez, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the Office of Foreign Affairs and International Trade without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua. I, Charles Henry Fernandez, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office and of Minister of Government without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua. And I do further swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state. And I do further swear that I will not on any account at any time whatsoever disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister, and that I will not accept with the authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister of government.
Again, we follow the procedures. He's being accompanied by his wife, Mrs. Fernandez. As he signs,
required briefing. By virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Charles Henry Fernandez, to hold the office of Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. And this is given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June, 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign. I congratulate you.
Thank you. There we have it. The Honorable Charles Max Fernandez, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Again, we bring you live coverage of this ceremony this afternoon, the swearing-in ceremony of the Cabinet Ministers for the new Cabinet, for the new government of Antigua and Barbuda. Next, of course, will be the Honorable Melford Nicholas.
Nicholas. I, Melford Walter, do swear to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs. I, Melford Walter, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law.
Again, Mr. Nicholas will make his return to the podium to make his second oath of allegiance this afternoon. And we have some additional things to add on this. Minister of Broadcasting Information, and there's some more. And we'll get that as soon as the minister himself reads it or the Governor General makes a proclamation. When he gets, of course, his certificate of appointment.
I, Melford Walter Nicholas, do swear that I will exercise the functions and office of the Minister of Information, Broadcasting, Telecommunications, and Information Technology without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. So help me God.
There we have it again. The Honorable Melford Nicholas, Minister of Broadcasting, Information, Telecommunications, and Information Technology. The Honorable Melford Nicholas is at the table once again, and he's signing the oath that you've just made. The Honorable Melford Nicholas will be Minister of Broadcasting, Information, Telecommunications, and Information Technology. Again, former executive manager of formerly Cable and Wireless, which is now Lime. He has the expertise as far as the telecommunications and technology is concerned. He's at the podium again as he continue, and he's joined there by his wife.
I, Melford Walter Nicholas, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office of minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. And I do further swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times, when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the governor or any other person, for the time being, lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state. And I do further swear that I will not, or on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister, and that I will not accept without the authority of the cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the cabinet, or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. So help me God.
That was the Honorable Melford Nicholas taking his second oath, and he is now about to sign his official documents that Governor General Dame Louise Lake Tack has given to him. And he is the Minister of Broadcasting, Information, Telecommunications, and Information Technology. And of course, you know, as you just heard from Dave, he was a former executive manager at formerly Cable and Wireless. So of course, you know, he has the expertise, and of course we are looking forward to see what he will be implementing as well.
You know, the good thing when you look at these ministers, the majority of the ministers are youthful ministers, and of course some are new-timers to a government and to a cabinet, and there's some fresh blood.
Yes.
The youths prevail in the 2014 election here in Antigua and Barbuda. In this instance, we know for a fact there's two attorneys, of course, in this administration, the Honorable Cutie Benjamin and the Honorable Samantha Marshall.
To Melford Walter Nicholas, Esquire, greeting. By virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua and Barbuda, I hereby appoint you, Melford Walter Nicholas, to hold the office of Minister of Information, Broadcasting, Telecommunications, and Information Technology. And this is given under my hand and the public seal this 18th day of June, 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign. And I congratulate you.
Congratulations. Minister Melford Nicholas, Minister of Information, Broadcasting, Telecommunications, and Information Technology, as he shakes the hands of those surrounding him at the podium. And
he's also the parliamentary representative for the St. John City East constituency.
Nibbs.
Mr. Barbuda. The Honorable Arthur Nibbs, Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and Barbuda Affairs.
I, Arthur Mano Nibbs, do swear to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
It's ABS as we continue to bring you coverage of the official swearing-in ceremony for the cabinet ministers for the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown government. They won the election last week, Thursday, here in Antigua and Barbuda on the 12th of June. The swearing-in ceremony is taking place today. Of course, we know last Friday the Honorable Gaston Brown was sworn in as Minister of Finance and Corporate Government and the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, and the Honorable Q.T. Benjamin, Attorney General and Minister of Labor, Immigration and Police. So we now await, of course, Mr. Nibbs' second allegiance as he swears to it.
I, Arthur Manor Nibbs, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office of Minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. So help me God.
We've got just about 13 minutes after 5, and following the Honorable Arthur Nibbs will be the final minister, which will be the Honorable Michael Brown, Minister of Education. The Honorable Arthur Nibbs will make his third. And
I, Arthur Manor Nibbs, do swear that I will exercise the functions of the office of Minister, office of Minister, and I do further swear that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times when thereto required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor General or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office for the good management of the public affairs of the state, and I do further swear that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any minister, and that I will not accept with the authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Antigua and Barbuda, directly or indirectly, reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. So help me God.
Honorable Arthur Nibbs, his third allegiance. He will now sign, of course, the oath that he made, and then we will hear the proclamation from the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda as far as the appointment of his portfolio. Again, it's ABS Radio, Television, and GIS as we bring you continuous coverage of the swearing-in ceremony for today, the 18th of June, 2014. And we have one final minister to go, which is the Honorable Michael Brown, who will be Minister of Education. But right now we'll wait for the proclamation, of course, of the appointment by the Governor General for the Honorable Arthur Nibbs.
To Arthur Manor Nibbs, Esquire, by virtue of the power and authority vested in me under subsection 4 of section 69 of the Constitution of Antigua, to hold the office of Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and Barbuda Affairs. And this is given under my hand, and the public seal this 18th day of June 2014, and in the 63rd year of Her Majesty's reign.
Fisheries and Barbuda Affairs, of course, getting his appointment and, of course, his certificate of appointment here at Government House. We now have the final minister, which will be the Honorable Michael Brown, Minister of Education.
Honorable Michael Sherwin Brown.
Of course, the lady that we saw there with the Honorable Arthur Nibbs was his wife. Now we have the Honorable Michael Brown.
I, Michael Sherwin Brown, do affirm to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, that I will firmly bear true allegiance according to the law. I affirm.
It's ABS as we continue to bring you live coverage of the swearing-in ceremony. He has 2 more oaths to go this afternoon. And then we will, of course, come to the end of the proceedings here. And then they'll proceed over to the Antigua Recreation Grounds, where the Prime Minister will make a national address. Here is Mr. Brown once again at the podium. I, Michael Sherwin Brown, do affirm that I will exercise the functions of the office of the Minister of Education, Technology and Science without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of Antigua and Barbuda. I affirm. Again by Mr. Brown is at the desk as he just signed his oath. We're down to the Prime Minister this afternoon. And you heard early on that the Honorable Lester Bird is unable to be here this afternoon due to illness, but his portfolio will be a senior minister in the government and in the cabinet of the Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown. The Honorable Brown is back at the podium for his final
where Phil George and Alex Nicholas will carry on the proceedings here. Dave and I are here live at the government's house, where we just witnessed the official swearing-in ceremony of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party's, now the government's cabinet. And of course we have the Honourable Tico Lake, and he is the Minister of Public Works and Housing. The Honourable Samantha Marshall, Social Transformation and Human Resource Development. The Honourable Asot Michael, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Energy, and also Economic Development. The Honourable Charles Max Henry Fernandez, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. The Honourable Molwyn Joseph, Minister of Health and the Environment.
We also have, of course, from Barbuda, the Honourable Arthur Nibbs, Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries and Barbuda Affairs. Then we have the Honourable Michael Brown, Minister of Education, Technology and Science. We have the Honourable Melford Nicholas, Minister of Broadcast and Information, Telecommunications and Information Technology. The Honourable Chet Greene, Minister of Trade, Industry, Commerce, Culture, Sports and National Festival. The Honourable Robin Yearwood, Minister of APUA, Utilities and Aviation, along with Transportation. And those are the ministry in the cabinet, along with, of course, we know that since Friday, the Honourable QT.
To recapture the hearts and minds of Antiguans and Barbudans at home and abroad, and all who others voted. And this you have most certainly done. You've done so clearly, dramatically, and unmistakably. It is a fact of history that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party was formed at a time when it took great courage to even think about organizing anything or anyone politically. It is a fact of history that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party was formed when standing for the people meant defending the utterly powerless against one of the mightiest empires the world has ever known. It is a fact, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party was formed to bring the locked-in out, to make the stooped stand tall, to ensure that the people of these two islands would not be forever subjects, but citizens, full, proud, progressive citizens of Antigua and Barbuda. Citizens who vote, citizens who elect and administer and debate and eventually decide. Full citizens, dear friends, who no matter how vicious the storm and no matter how steep the climb, are ready to struggle and strive and push ever onward and ever upward as the prize being masters of your own destiny. As a nation and as a people, you stand tall and proud today. How easy it is in 2014 to forget that it was not always so in Antigua and Barbuda. How easy it is, as we sit here this evening, to forget that there was a time, a very, very long time, when self-actualization and self-mastery were deemed to be concepts that belong to other people in other places, may we never forget that it was the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party that changed that here in your country. Changed it for everyone. Forever. Forever and forever. Never to return to those days of old. And so this evening I salute you. I salute you. I salute in particular your Prime Minister, Gaston Brown. I pay homage to him today. You have led your party to a wondrous victory. And you have done so in a way that upholds the most time-honored and sacred principles of democratic governance. And Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, it is a party well worth leading. And a couple of years ago, Mr. Prime Minister, you decided that you could lead this great party with competence and with vision into a brighter future. You pursued this goal, however, while adhering to the rules and regulations of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. You did this while ensuring that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party continued to have the benefit of your strengths, your skills, and your presence. You ensured that whatever your own vision for this great party, you would work within the party to keep the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party intact and strong to take that massive victory which you delivered last week, Thursday, for the benefit of the people of Antigua and Barbuda and the region. I remind us today that this great party was begun by the first Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Right Honorable Vere Conwell Baird. And then the people of this nation elected his esteemed son, the Honorable Lester Bryant Baird, Senior Minister Designate, who unfortunately is not here with us today, but he has and was elected to serve as your second Prime Minister. Please join me. Please join me, really, in a round of applause for the Honorable Lester Bryant Baird, former Prime Minister of this great nation, Antigua and Barbuda. Too often, ladies and gentlemen, we take for granted that which is truly precious, just because we have had it for a very long time. May the people of Antigua and Barbuda be forever aware of how fortunate you are. You are not one of those countries in which people do not have the right to vote. You are not among those nations which hold elections, but they are terribly flawed. And you are not, thank God, one of those countries in which election results have simply been ignored. You are blessed. Blessed to know nothing of those weights and nothing of those burdens. Today, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, which I am honored to lead, is the sister organization of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. And I congratulate Prime Minister Brown, his cabinet, and the party at having secured such a compelling victory. You have given me the inspiration. You have given my party, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, the inspiration for a similar massive defeat whenever we call our elections very shortly in St. Kitts and Nevis. I have known and worked with your Prime Minister for many years, having been introduced to me by the former Prime Minister Lester Bird and the newly appointed Minister of Tourism, Economic Development and Energy, the Honorable Asot Anthony Michael. Give him his due applause. The members of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, they have chosen Gaston Brown to lead the party. The people of Antigua and Barbuda have now chosen him and your party to lead this proud nation. Today, tonight, this evening, I ask of you full support to the Prime Minister and his new cabinet. Full confidence, full support to Gaston Brown and his new members of the cabinet. And I, as Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, am committed to working with him and his government, both within CARICOM as well as on a bilateral basis, to advance the interest of our two nations and indeed to advance
like we have lost our sanity and we are ready to sing this country. Tutmun and Sam must share the blame for spoiling our country's name. We contribute so easily to our nation's downfall. Oh me, oh my, we're not patriotic at all. Brothers fight a nation to build, a country to mold. We have a nation to build, a nation to build, a country to mold. We have a nation to build, a country to mold. We have a nation to build, a nation to build, a country to mold. We have a nation to build, a country to mold. Young and educated, Antigua we will rebuild. Let's all put our heads together. One nation I call my own. It's now and always one. Antigua and sweet Barbuda. Rise up in unity, stand up in unity, live life in unity. Antigua for all are we. Rise up in unity, stand up in unity, live life in unity. Barbuda for all are we. Antigua is nice, 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 nice. Barbuda is sweet, 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 sweet. Antigua is nice. Antigua is nice, 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 nice. Barbuda is sweet, 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 sweet. Antigua is nice.
the National Youth Choir of Antigua and Barbuda with a medley there. And of course, they're under the direction of Miss Smith. Give them a round of applause once again, please. Many years ago, I was walking in the Lower Point area, and I met a young man whose name's Gaston Brown, and we got into a conversation. I'm sure when I'm finished, he'll recall the conversation. He said he was about to join the Antigua Labour Party. He was going to change it, he said. And I said to him, well, just how do you intend to do that? He shot back rapidly. You will see. I will change the Labour Party, just like V.C. Bird in 1939 made or was relevant to Antigua and Barbuda, and Lester Bird and John St. Louis and the others were relevant in 1976. My day will come. I'll be relevant. We now have with us the very relevant, the very young, the very dynamic, the indomitable, the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. I give you this young man.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremony. Fair Antigua and Barbuda, we thy sons and daughters stand, strong and firm in peace or danger, to safeguard our native land. We commit ourselves to building a true nation, brave and free. Fellow Antiguans and Barbudans, colleague Prime Ministers, Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, fellow members of the Cabinet of Ministers of Antigua and Barbuda, other parliamentarians, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the judiciary, religious, and other sectoral leaders, visiting and other specially invited guests, comrades of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, well-wishers, and friends, good evening. I address you this evening as your humble servant leader who is dedicated to serve and to empower you. I have been asked to deliver an address. But what I really wish to do this evening is to thank you. To say thank you to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to all citizens and residents of our beautiful Twin Islands state. I cannot thank you enough for this opportunity to serve my beloved Antigua and Barbuda at the highest level. And I accept with humility and gratitude the trust and confidence that you've reposed in me to serve as our country's 4th Prime Minister. I assure you that I will never betray your trust and that I will honor your support and dedicate the rest of my productive life to work relentlessly for the advancement of the state and the empowerment of our people. And I say tonight to Major Maxim, there will be no divorce. No divorce. We shall cherish, nurture, and reward the support of our people. And I ask all of my colleagues, especially my cabinet colleagues, to take seriously the charge of Major Maxim and the good counsel of my colleague prime ministers. With each passing day, as I discover the severity of our fiscal challenges, many of which have been hidden from the public, I am inspired to work doubly hard to justify the confidence that you've reposed in us, to nurture and lead this beautiful land of ours back to robust economic health and prosperity. Today, our new Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party administration stands committed to rebuild our country, to attract more foreign direct investment, to stimulate more domestic investment, and to create more jobs to put our long-suffering people, especially our youth, back to work. We have just emerged from a long and grueling general election campaign in which we established a vision to transform Antigua and Barbuda into an economic powerhouse in the Caribbean. Some may have misinterpreted this as a niche campaign slogan or perhaps a catchphrase. Well, I said to you this evening that we are serious, very serious about your empowerment, very serious about the advancement of the state. My government's vision is to transform Antigua and Barbuda into an economic powerhouse, to have a harmonious, prosperous, and modern nation, a country of equality, of opportunity, of justice, irrespective of color, creed, or class. We are an egalitarian institution, and our government shall be an egalitarian and all-inclusive government. And anyone who is willing to make a contribution towards the advancement of this country will be given the opportunity so to do. We will be unrelenting with the resilience and determination of our forebears, as embodied in the words of the late Sir Noble Richards, never failing, all enduring. The road to success will not be an easy one, but we shall persevere. We shall press on in unison until this vision. I am once again this evening recommitting my party and government to the pursuit of every single undertaking made in our campaign manifesto entitled The People's Rescue Plan. And I said to you tonight that all promises will be honored. It was suggested, for example, that we were dangling a carrot before the Caribbean brothers and sisters when we promised we would eliminate work permit fees for CARICOM nationals. Well, there's no need for any sort of dangling this evening. Nevertheless, I announced this evening, OECS Day, that effective Monday, 26 June 2014, no work permit fees shall be collected from CARICOM nationals who have been offered duly advertised and processed employment opportunities here in Antigua and Barbuda. The Labour Party administration will deliver. And I said to you tonight, promise made, promise kept. 2 days ago, I met with the management of APUA, and let me state this. I have done no less than 12 hours a day on the job since last Friday. And I want to make sure that I lead from the front. And for all public servants to understand that it is a new dispensation. A dispensation of productivity, a dispensation of performance. So 2 days ago, I met with the management of APUA, and I've asked them to put systems in place to fast-track the telephone and utility relief programs as enshrined in our 2014 manifesto. Effective Monday, June 23rd, 2014, APA will accept requests for water, telephone, and electricity write-offs covering arrears for households up to December 31st, 2013. I say to you again, promise made, promise kept. My dear Antiguans and Barbudans, citizens and residents, I also gave an assurance, or the assurance, to the APA management that there will be no retrenchment in order to bring an end to the uncertainty over jobs at APUA. There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration. We have also identified strategies to make APUA strong, vibrant, self-sustaining, and certainly to make it a great social and economic entity here in Antigua and Barbuda once again. I want the workers at APUA to feel secure in their jobs so that they can give of their best in the service of the people of our country. I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country. It is said that many serious proposals that had the potential to create thousands of jobs for Antiguans and Barbudans were left unattended by the former Prime Minister and his ministers. Today, I say to you that that will not happen under my leadership. I say to you tonight that there will be no missed opportunities under the leadership of Gaston Brown. Every opportunity that presents itself will be exploited for the benefit of our people. Nothing will be left adrift. And anything that can be done and will be done shall be done. As your Prime Minister, I will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to serve you, the people. Your new administration will introduce a rapid response culture in the public sector and will expedite all serious investments, foreign and local, that are in the best interest of Antiguans and Barbudans. The Prime Minister's office in Antigua and Barbuda shall no longer be a warehouse for storage of glossy proposals, but shall be the engine for the transformation of this great nation. Our government was elected less than 1 week ago. A cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done. Well, I have already met with the board of Petro-Caribbean. I met with them yesterday, and I said to them that they have an obligation to assist our government to ensure that we deliver on our social obligations to the people. Tonight, I do not wish to steal the thunder of our newly appointed Minister of Housing. But tonight, I say to our contractors, to our tradesmen, to our laborers, to our architects, our engineers, our plumbers, our electricians, I say to all of them, start to dust off your tools, because we are ready to rebuild this country. The 500 homes in 500 days